Rothfire is still the leader. Here comes the blood now. Alligator Blood on the outside, stormed up and took over. Alligator Blood's in front, flashing late Private Eye, but Alligator Blood's won the straight break.
Welcome back to Bet Doctor. Behind the curtain, look at how pro punters operate. We've had a big session with Richie on...
big all right.
Hey?
Big all right.
We're still here? Another coffee?
As you just said, probably missed about 5 things I wanted to say as well. It was great
that's
chat.
The best part, DK, is that I've probably got 30 things on a list. You've got 10. Nick's got, there's so much that we've all need to get off our chest. So hopefully it's a good start to a pathway to do that.
And I think we've made a bit of ground, but we won't keep talking about it because we'll be here forever. Yep. But an interesting thing that we saw on Twitter and some big news out of New Zealand, we'll put it up on screen, but Michael Guerin, journo and harness punter, I guess, and just punter over in New Zealand, announced it was a big win for the New Zealand punters. Tab announced special with no deductions on any final field bets, all 3 codes, all domestic and international. Back a horse or a dog final field and you get the price, even if top 5 favourites are all scratch. It runs until November. I tell you what.
Great promotion.
I've never seen a promotion this lucrative. I'm tipping any single bloke that's a punter under the age of 40 or under the age of 60 will be on the first plane and they'll be sitting in Tabs and for the rest of the spring carnival. I'll tell you what, if I had no misses, didn't have this show, I'd be on the plane and I'd be over in New Zealand for the next 3 months.
Mate, you're in Victoria now just to play with Shaq's balls. So why wouldn't you be straight on the next plane to Victoria? No, where is it? New Zealand.
As you say, well, grab the keys and head down there. But I tell you what, how do you reckon they'd go, DK? They'd absolutely get scun alive, wouldn't they?
Oh, it's a promoter. It's a marketing. Just everything gets written off to the marketing department. The marketing department said, here, we've got how many million. It's like any promotion for all those joints. Any time that Sportsbet pay early on one of their, I'll pay out early on the Brown, I'll pay out early on this, it just gets written off to the marketing department. It doesn't go into the sports or the racing team. They say, it goes into their squillions of dollars in marketing budget, so that's all it is. It's a promotion. I think it's a terrific promotion, but then straight away everyone's, how can we rort this? How can we rort this? But it's something yesterday, there was 45 cents and everyone got full whack, so...
how would they go to Big Dance on Friday at the Grafton when Waller's got 9 in and he scratched 7 of them? How would they go there? That'd be good fun.
It raises a pretty big integrity concern, I would have thought. Like, they're just opening themselves up for a trainer to put a horse in. All of a sudden you nominate an even money favourite. You're all in on the rort. I guess the prize money levels over in New Zealand are super hard. They sell most of their horses to Hong Kong. If I've got a $2 chance that I know is a bit wonky, it takes up the market percentage, and I ring Farmer Joe down the road and we're all on his horse.
Yeah, but it's really they're going to risk manage it. Like, it's like the tabby. You can't get on to win 1,000 or 2,000 unless you're an absolute green lighted VIP. If you're going to pull a trick, then you've got to go find a green lighted VIP who can get 10,000 on the thing, and that's all. It's all too hard. I mean, it's like the tabby. You can't get on, so you get on to win $1 or $2 grand with no deductions. Big deal.
I'm saying it's a $5 chance to last the whole until November. They'll pull it early, I reckon.
Like DK says, it's nearly not worth talking about because it's so ridiculous and so insane and whatever it is. And it's done what it's supposed to do. It's got people's attention and free
Absolutely.
Market.
Nico, welcome to the show. What do you reckon about doing the yard out of New Zealand?
I think it'd be tough. Made it out of the Monash car park, so that's good. But yeah, I think the yard out of New Zealand would be pretty tough with those wet tracks. So,
well, you can't get it. You can't anyway. Everyone's opening up the website, and you can't get on the VPN or whatever blocks because we're in Australia.
I'm thinking about sending the Noonan boys to do the spring carnival from New Zealand.
I got you. Okay.
Ellerslie Yard with Nick Noonan, and just sit them in the tabs on the off days. DK on the blower, Walt, away we go.
My grandma lives in New Zealand, so might be able to go there. Bit of free com.
Nico. All right, speaking of being on track, we got a bit of track screen. It's been an absolute beauty here. I'm not sure which pitch is going to come up first, but as soon as I see it on the screen, I'll start talking about it. The first one is an absolute beauty. This is your neck of the woods scone with the marinated pork belly with the chips there, $14. I tell you what, if that pork belly's cooked well enough, that looks outstanding. $14, that's stealing, I reckon. DK, there looks like a heap of pork there too.
I just need a sauce or something with the chips or something like that. A couple of
sachets.
A couple of something to dip or something, or do something there. But apart from that, how much was that? $10?
$14. I think that's pretty good. Pretty good gear. It's going. And I love this one, Sam Shan. What a warrior this bloke is. From Busan in South Korea. He sent it in, and it's a pork cutlet with rice. Looks like a little bit of a miso soup on the side as well, and that's $10. That's an absolute corker.
Yeah,
and
if you've been to Asian racing, you do get they're big on the two, Asian countries. You've got to feed. It's all about the food, the punt and the food. They don't really drink. All the Westerners drink at Happy Valley, of course. But the rest of that, so it's all about the food. So you go to I've been to Macau, Hong Kong, I assume Singapore, Japan, Korea. Tipping you'd be able to get the grouse tucker at all those joints.
They have like a little cafeteria, and I went to the Japan Cup, and they had eel on rice, and I'm a massive fan of eel on rice, and it was absolutely outstanding. But there was hot dogs, there was so many like good vendors, and it was just amazing. The crowd were just all for it. But different sort of gravy over there. It's a different experience.
How much was that?
You must go.
$10.
What's that for the eel rice?
No, for that.
Oh, that was $10 for the cutlet.
Oh, lovely.
I think the eel rice was about $13 Australian in Japan, but it was absolutely outstanding. But I think Sam Sheen wins the gong. So drop us a message at Little Birdie TV, and we'll sing you a prize there. You've done well to post in some scran from Basan. I've never had a bet in South Korea.
I'll have some off-track scran for next week's skirt. Off-track.
Okay.
Gimlet. Cheryl's taking me to Gimlet for my birthday.
Nice.
You heard of that?
Lobster?
Heard of it?
Yeah.
Best restaurant in Australia, Nico. You go to Gimlet.
Is it?
Best restaurant in Australia.
Where is it?
Russell and Flinders.
Down Flinders Lane area.
That old Cavendish house, whatever it is. So, a bit of a bit. Can't get in. It's a Monday lunch, the only time we can get in. So, I'll report back and that'll be the go for you, Nico. Back and win and take the new squeeze there. That'll nearly seal the deal.
I'll tell you what, the $500 voucher that I still owe you, you wouldn't get much change out of Gimlet there. So DK must be flying somehow.
Cheryl, Mrs. She's trucking.
Christ.
It's her birthday. It's her Wally.
Well, that's unbelievable. My missus doesn't know
What? Don't get shouted out on your birthday.
My missus doesn't even know how much rent we pay. Well, I've moved up to Queensland, haven't bought a house yet, but that's what I said. What about you, Walt? Any love there from Beck?
Beck,
Does she?
Beck, she give you the big, give you the big polish on the birthday. Not that sort of. No, I mean, not that polish. Give you a spoil. I mean,
She give me a polish. Yeah, I'm not a polish man. No, I duck and weave birthdays, duck and weave. But she actually doesn't have a bank account as far as I'm aware.
Cool. Has anyone seen the Glen Waverley Footy Club video yet?
huh?
Speaking of polish. Anyway, it'll do the rounds, I'm sure. Speaking of Manscaped, 20% off using the code Little Birdie. Perfect for the Gold Coast summer holiday shave down. It's not long now to Magic Millions, DK. I know that you can't wait to get back. I nearly froze, but 30 minutes neck to toe. So the missus will love you, and so will your masseuse. So if you want to get 20% off the weed whacker or the lawn mower, that's how I get the beard looking so good, and I'm smooth. And it's going to really help me.
Up there, and then we're down to Brisbane, and we're on the cruise, Scooty. You're on the cruise this year, next year.
With
back aboard.
Johnny McLeod. Who?
Oh.
Which cruise?
The boat, the ship.
What?
The family were going on a cruise.
Who you are?
Yeah, taking the family.
Where are you going?
10 nights South Pacific, going to Namibia, New Caledonia,
Yeah, but-
Vanuatu, all these joints. Magnificent. Quantum of the Seas. 10 nights take the kids for their first ever cruise. So hard to beat. Now cruises will be back. Very hard to beat. But yeah, so up there. But we might come up to Gold Coast for a few days before we come down to Brisbane, Scooty.
I'll expect some bit of content too.
Be plenty of content. Absolutely.
From the boat.
I've been to
I did great content last time. Remember I won the bomb competition on the last one. We went on for our 10th anniversary. I won the bomb. The pool bomb.
There's a racetrack at Nemea, actually.
Is there?
Yeah.
I'll go, there you go. I wasn't going to go. I thought, what?
Claim the trip.
I'll go and see the race course.
Tax
There's one at Vanuatu too. There used to be a Vanuatu Cup. Remember the trips used to go back for that every year.
I've been to it.
Been to it.
Vanuatu Cup. You should see it. It's dead set mowing around palm trees. It's brutal. It was awesome.
Does Trippy sponsor it? He probably would.
Tipping they did.
All right, this could be
Let's
a
go.
4-hour show. Is Don as good? Is Don as great? No joy last week with Bandy's boy, Willie out wide, and he got another scratching. He's the king of scratchings, our man Donny. I think he's got as good a strike rate as winners as he has for scratchings. Nightmare and it was scratched. I've already given you a bit of a polish. Might be the word for the show. Polish. Zoo got you was super, and then he didn't do a bad job with Opacity and Casino Kid finishing second and third on the other one. And it's good to have Rosehill back to a true rail. The TopSport Steamers, they were on the nose last week. Absolutely no good. Nico's fresh for Caulfield, and the boys have just done their full Caulfield preview, and Little Birdie's now the sponsor of the racing show. So welcome aboard those guys. So if you want the full preview, make sure you check out the racing show, and Little Birdie TV is now the major sponsor for Nico's show, which is beautiful business, and it's a podcast only, so you can't see the boys, but you can hear them go through the whole card, which is great stuff. If you're having a bet this weekend, make sure you have a bet with TopSport. As we said, they're the fairest book in the land. They bet the keenest percentage, and they're trying their balls off to grow the game. So make sure you sign up with them, and their customer service is second to none. think of Qantas and TopSport are the opposite of that. Qantas are absolutely free fall at the moment, but TopSport, they won't leave you hanging. So make sure you get an account with them. Nico, I think we're going to crack in with the McNeil Stakes. I know you have got a replay, and it's a bit of a tricky one here, but let's talk about the market for Caulfield. Been a little bit of rain around. I'm not sure it's going to be enough to trouble Caulfield, but I'll let you tell me what you think about the track in a minute. But Af Cabin's the favourite here, 350 into 310. Zamborghini is 550. Jackano, my horse, is $6. Dormier, $7. Crosswind, $14. Lincoln Square, $14. And Tawana is $21. When you see that market, any thoughts there, Nico?
Look, Af Cabin's obviously pretty smart. Ran some big figures on his Melbourne debut last start. 1,400 back to 12 is a big concern. He's drawn barrier 3. I don't know. I can't see him starting any shorter than $3. Even with those big figures, just with the map, I don't know how many sort of the big players are going to get too involved there. Tricky little race. A few of these kind of haven't set the world on fire at the jump outs. Got that iffy Blue Diamond form, which may not be much good. I thought Zamborghini was definitely the horse. The market's come for him already, 650 to 550. I think he's going to start with a 4 in front of his name. I think they'll just keep coming for him. He's got $2.50 SPs. He's led in both of his starts, so they're obviously going to have him mapping going forward. Barrier 11, Malum, Laurie, combination that's profitable. Really?
Don't know about that. I saw Matt Laurie on after they chatted to him after its latest jump out, and you saw he sort of tried to drag it back, then they went slow and it got trucking. And he said, I would have liked him to go back and find a bum. He went a bit keen. So he might roll forward, but he definitely wants to, I reckon he wants cover. He wants to find some cover.
I think probably the key to that is a lot of people map him going forward, so therefore maybe the market sort of goes with him there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, probably had to,
yeah. I thought 650 was a big price. I kind of had him more like 450. So I'll be backing him. Af Cabin's obviously got a good chance, but
it's going to be the hunted Af Cabin, isn't it? Like barrier 3. He's the only backing trip. It's going to be inside him as is, in the bright blue jacket, just being the complete hunted.
It's the thing you got to take in with Saturday. Like this horse's targets the Caulfield Guineas. Like it's in 2 months. Like he doesn't need to be winning the McNeil at $3. Like I think that's something you got to really weigh up with getting very involved in a few of these kickoff races for horses. Yes, he may be the best horse in this race, but there's no need to come out and knock him over and do anything like that, is there? He's just got to get through the run and get him to the grand final now.
Any thoughts? Any of the Sydney horses here, Walt? Have you had a little look at Caulfield?
I have not so much that race. I had a good look at race 8, the main race, but I haven't. Man in the mirror. There's nothing much there from Sydney, is there? AFCAB was obviously very good in Sydney. I don't know. Yeah, the inside draw is probably more concerning to me than the 1,200 for AFCAB, but the $3 doesn't look any spoil from back in the zip locker.
I can see a heap of money for Zamborghini. I thought our lay last week was a good run for Gita San, and Zamborghini's obviously knocked him off at his second start there. So I can understand the market gravitating towards him, but very much watch and learn, and interested to see where they go with Jacket.
Seems an easy enough bet, Zamborghini. Like I don't know if he's going to come out and win the race, but seems like you're going to be taking overs if you're getting involved now.
Yeah. All right, we'll kick on to the Memsie Stakes here, and that's race number 8. And lots of chances here by the look of the pricing in the market there. Western Empire's favourite $5.50, Alligator Blood $6, Elation is $7, Tafane is $7, Cascadian off that bomb trial $7.50, I'm Thunderstruck $9, Snap Dance at $10, and then you got Call Sign Mav at $20, Douay is $21, and then you got Nonconformist $26, Dragon Leap $34, Lightsaber on the similar quote with Elephant, who was not bad. First up, they weren't really trying, $51, and Zen Zyrek is $61 here. Nico, we're going to have a look at Alligator Blood winning the Stratty here, and he put a bit of a hole in him here, and I think, Walt, you tipped it this day as well.
Yeah, this is a big win. Getting back to somewhere near his best figures in sort of this win and even the run prior in the BRC Sprint just puts an absolute hole in him late when he's really asked for the effort there by Tim Clark. This was his first campaign for Waterhouse Spot. They kind of look like they've got the horse back on track. Love the way he come away from him. He jumped well in this race, but there's a lot of speed underneath him. Like he drew barrier 17 of 18, and he couldn't really get forward. The same thing happened in the BRC Sprint. He jumped really well. He drew 15 of 16. So they sort of sat midfield. I think from barrier number 1 with Oliver on, he's going to be a lot more prominent here. It wouldn't even shock me if they wanted to find the front, given there's no like natural leader in this race. Lightsaber and Snap Dancer probably go for it, but I wouldn't be surprised if either handed up to him and didn't want to cross him. If he does kick up from 1, I think most likely he's probably box seat. The preparation looks back on track. 1400's probably sweet spot. That was a 1400 meter Group 1 there last start. He's got the residual fitness. His recent jump out at Flemington was pretty good. I suppose the only grey up is just what's happened with his ownership in that. Like, there was a sort of talk he was going to have to miss the spring, and then they were going to go to Japan, and now he's back in sort of just how they've sort of trained him through that, if they've kept him right up to the mark or they backed off a little. But, the Waterhouse Spot team, I doubt, them backing off a little compared to another stable might not be as much. They keep him pretty up to the mark anyway. So I think he definitely deserves to be favourite. I was kind of surprised he's $6. Everything looks, if you take out the sort of off-track controversy, everything looks like it's been in great order for him just to come to this race and give it every single chance. So I thought he should be clear favourite.
It scares me, D. Oliver, and I'd love Walt's man, Tim Clark, on. And I'll pose a question to you, Walt. Where's TC?
Yeah, well, a week ago, this horse was not probably going to be retired, but probably going to be spelled. So I think it missed one gallop, after it was probably looked like they were not going to have any chance of running. And I think that was it. And it's probably not a big issue, like you're saying, from that stable to miss one gallop. It's probably not a drama. I was probably more concerned from, inside draw horse that normally, he did go well first up last trip, but I'm still worried about all that Queensland form, to be honest. It's more concerning to me than anything else. But Timmy was planned to ride it through its prep. I think, he's trying to plan to get on it third up in can't remember the name of the race. He had planned his whole spring around riding the horse. So he's obviously was going very well before he went down to Melbourne.
This is a tricky one. I'm just trying to figure out who grand final day here, like Western Empire, is he a Cox Plate horse? You got Alligator Blood. He's probably got the benefit of being a little bit more forward, and he obviously, he hasn't had those trials with those issues, but love backing a horse like that off a solid campaign in Queensland. You've got Elation, who, again, are they going to be out to gas him? He's probably going to go to a Golden Eagle.
Well, I think the map's probably key for those two, Western Empire and Elation. I think there's no doubt they're serious talents, especially Western Empire. I'm super keen to sort of see him in the yard and see what he can do there on Saturday. But I think since this race has been a Group 1, so since Atlantic Jewel won it, there's only been 2 horses to win outside of barrier number 5 in this race. And that was Atlantic Jewel when she won it. Like, she was a freak. And Behemoth last year had a bit on them. Every other year, you want to be inside draws. They're drawn 12 and 13. We just know as a rule, like, wide draws at Caulfield getting back. Like, it's just not.
First up. They're all
not
resumers.
grand final day.
It's a resumers race.
And then Tafani, how many starts? She's 7-year-old mare. Then you got Cascadian, who's clearly flying. There'll be a lot of people that pile into him.
It just kind of leaves you with Alligator Blood, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I think I'm Thunderstruck I'll be interested to see what he's like from the yard, because remember last time, first up, if he parades like he's ready, that would be a horse that I'd love to launch into.
I saw him the other day actually at Sandown. He had a track gallop and he looks a lot fitter this time in. Like, I think he kind of got away from a bit over that spring break, and they had to give him a few runs to really get him, cranked up there for the autumn. But seeing him the other day, he looks a lot fitter than what he did coming back in last preparation. I saw him and Elation. They both look like great. So there's sort of no knocks from that point of view. But I think everything's just kind of in Alligator Blood's corner, just to probably half get away with one here if the others are out wide and cast. But it's a bit fascinating.
The last sort of 6-7 runnings have all been on good tracks. Is that not a worry?
It's not stopped raining since I got here, but I don't think it's enough rain to change the track condition too heavily.
It's a heavy 8 now. I'd probably expect it gets back to a 7 or a 6 maybe, but hard to know at the moment. With Melbourne weather.
Cascadian tried like far lap. Like you look at Animo, trotted up the other day. Profondo's probably a bit stiff not to be in the finish, and it tried better than both of those. Not entertaining the mighty Cascadian.
Yeah, I think he'll be heavily supported. We filmed a bit of content with the Don. I think the Don would be already on. Don was hunting $9, and they've wheeled it out. And it's been bashed back into $7.50 at TopSport. So yeah, I would have thought Cascadian would be the mix, Alligator Blood, and maybe on Thunderstruck. But a lot of those other horses, like, they're just going to be a mile from their top, and it's just not grand final day. Like, I would have loved to find a horse like Lightsaber at a price, but Moody's come out and said that it's not grand final day for him either.
He's the best roughie, I think, because he's just tough, even if he's underdone. Like, he doesn't ever run a bad race, Lightsaber. I think he'll be right in the finish.
Well, I don't know if he's foxing P. Moody, but this would be the perfect race to have this horse wound up, ready to go, and just at $34, he's still an entire. Bang, there's your good big Group 1 on the CV.
Yeah.
That was the horse at odds that I was trying to find, but
couldn't knock that.
It's a good sign of a race, though, for an early weight for age race. When you guys are all there, I think that I'd be backing Cascadian, Dewey, Zarek, and maybe having a peanut on Snap Dancer. So we've got about 15 runners cast between us.
put them all in the mix and just bet our brains out. So you're going to get a good price if you can find the winner, but DK won't be betting in that race. I assure you, would hate it, wouldn't wipe his bum with it. The Heatherly is the next one that we're going to have a look at. So Alligator Blood on top for Nico there to clarify. The Heatherly, race number 9, it's over 1,700 metres. Interesting run. A few horses resuming off sort of, looking for their Caulfield Cup sort of paths. And you've got Jimmy the Bear, $4.80 favourite. Delphi, $8.50. Lunar Flare is $8.50. No Effort, $9. Emissary, $10. Spanish Mission, $13. Here's Our Bonneville is $14. Desert Icon, $15. La Chevrolet is $19. Daquin Sweet Jr. 20, and then much better the rest. You see Charlie Rose, who was not bad, I thought, first up, and then you got Royal Mile, who was placed weirdly last start, and you got horses like Barbie's Fox that bobbed up last start as well. But Nico, funny one, Jimmy the Bear. We're going to have a look at this replay. I know Walt's got some thoughts about this race, and it was a funny race.
Yeah, it was a bit of a gimme, wasn't it? Like, I thought of that, didn't want the lead. Sosie Bond sort of went up there, and the rest of them, Chief Old Tony was a dry track, and the rest of them probably weren't there to play. So it was definitely a PR, like perfect run, perfect ride from Billy. But he's just tough, this horse. He hasn't run a bad race all prep. He's a winner, finds the line, gets out to 1,700, which I don't think will pull him up. Like, he's coming away from him here late, and it's a very soft run. Has to go forward here from 11. He's got the residual fitness, which is what you need to win this race. It's a tough race to win sort of first up. You want to have sort of that residual fitness, and it's a good race to be on speed. Now, whether what Walt sort of said, how the track sort of impacts that, it's usually probably a good track this time of the year, and now it's going to be a heavy track, potentially soft track Saturday. If that sort of counters that by race 9, I'm not too sure, but at the moment I'm probably leaning to the on-speed horses just from a historical point of view, and he's going to be there from 11. He's got no other option but to go forward. I will say I did take a longer price early in the week, but he just looks very, very well placed here. The 3-year-old down on the minimum, or the 4-year-old now, but the 3-year-old form. I thought this is his race to lose. I thought it was a really good betting race, actually. I'm pretty keen to back him and Desert Icon, who gets here second up. Had some good sort of figures last preparation where he found his mark in Melbourne. That's where he started firing a few shots. He had a really good prep, won a very similar sort of race last campaign. Over 1,800. He's 1,700. Preble should go forward from 7. I think he's probably outside lead, 1 out, 1 back. I just think with both of them, they're going to be in the right spot. There's a few back markers here, or a few horses here that are looking for Caulfield Cups and those kind of races, naturalism, sort of second, third up, and they're just going to be here. They look like they've been set for this race, and I thought Desert Icon was a massive price at $15, easily going to be the best result in the race, and Jimmy the Bear's worth backing at sort of $5.
This is a fascinating race, I think.
Yeah, it was a good angle though. The race fit, good map. But I thought Desert Icon was a nice one for him. Delphi, like he's a horse you're talking about. He's sort of up there in the market because he's got some class, but it'll be a clean up, and he needs the run to get to the naturalism and things like that. So it's a few in the same boat.
Generally a money horse too, Delphi. Usually the market sort of hones in if he's going to be a winning chance. He'll get smacked off the map. Any thoughts there, Walt, or nothing to add?
No, nothing. Big news though I saw from Nico's bloodstock team this morning that he's retired Mugatoo.
Oh, have they?
Have they? Come on, mate. You're on the banner. You're on the board.
I thought they would have pressed on for another run to see how he goes, but probably time for him.
We can't go a week without mentioning him. So thanks for that. Well, if you want more of Nico stuff, make sure you check out the racing show. But if you want that Mountie mail that I spoke about and get the final thoughts on the Memsie, and I think it'll be an important weekend for the yard. So $25 a week for Wednesday and Saturday Metro. So he'll be your best bet in spring. So you know when to pull the trigger if he's launching or if he's betting around a favourite. That's where I have the most success with Nico. But don't underestimate him if he's betting outside the market too. He can definitely find a roughie that bobs up. We'll spear straight into Sydney, Walt. And the first race that you're going to tackle here is race 5. And tell you what, you're starting to find the stable a lot lately. CJ Waller's got the favourite here. Grace and Harmony, $3.50. Blazer Trail, $4.40. Old Flame, $4.40. True Detective, $7.50. Turn on the Charm, $10. That's horses inside the market. And you were taken by the last start of Grace and Harmony. So it's a chestnut here in the purple, white and black. Just sort of probably 6 back, 1 pair out, and really strong through the line, this horse.
Yeah, so I got keen first up. It's hard not to find Waller when he's got 612 horses, but importantly, this horse sort of carried a bit of weight in an apprentice here first up, sprinted against a slow tempo, a really slow tempo there. The horses behind it that have already come out and won, like Pizarro was very impressive last week. Niffler was down there, but sort of running are they running 6th and 7th behind it? They've both come out and won, even though Mudgee came out and ran well the other day. Now it drops sort of 6 kilos. The worry is that it can be a little bit dicey at the start, but just hoping that Sleepy McAvoy will be fired up by winning the last race at Kensington yesterday. And if this horse sort of settles 4th, 5th, I think it'll be winning. A lot of one-paced horses in this race, like not bad horses. You got sort of Old Flame, even Blazer Trail went quite well down in Mexico, was it last start? It's a sort of horse that'll be up on speed, hard fit, and run well. I think it's probably the horse to run down. But if Grace and Harmony jumps with 53, I think it's far more progressive and has that nice turn of foot that nothing else in this race can compete with.
Can't remember the last time you found a K McAvoy run. He's just out in the abyss, isn't he, K McAvoy?
Yesterday, depth it varies. Beautiful.
I missed that one. I was chasing Shaq, looking for a ghost. Probably the only bloke that didn't see him yesterday.
I will say with Blazer Trail, that he's kind of a dry tracker, so I think they'll be looking for he's in Melbourne and Sydney, so it's turning the charm. They'll be looking for the driest track, I would imagine. So there's probably a chance he does go to Sydney, given it's a 6 and Melbourne's an 8, but probably maybe still too wet for him a 6.
6. Yeah, I definitely think Melbourne improved. All right, Rosehill race 6 is the next one here, and Fire's the favourite from the Hawks Yard, 235 into 190. Couple of deductions there, so not really a big move. Quick Tempo's $4, $6 Rubinoki, $17 Monty Ditto, and then Lady Brook at 18, and much bigger the rest. Quick Tempo's the horse we're going to have a look at. It's out the back in the black and yellow, getting sort of scrubbed along to sort of keep up from the Mark Minervini yard.
Yeah, so we're going to be in the cupboard at the start for both of these races. This horse missed it about 5 last start. Again, an apprentice this day, and it's like you watch its last 100 here. It's actually worth watching. So they went out like sort of 5 below, come home 7 above. This is run the fastest sort of last 6, 4, 2 of the day in clearly the worst part of the track. Absolutely rockets to the line. So its start before that, it probably should have beaten Mautai, which I think is even better form than that form, with that race there. And this horse is just absolutely flying. The key is that it's had Schiller, Searle, Sherry, Blanche, Searle, Weir. Now it's got James McDonald. So hard fit, perfect. It didn't jump great 2 starts back, but that was sort of in 1,000 drawn wide. The start before that, it jumped and showed enough speed to be settling in the first 4 here. If it does that, I know Fire's a good horse. I just think there's just way too big a gap between them. I think they should be very close together in the market. And if this horse is on the back of Fire, it's going to want to be good to hold it off. Yeah,
Dylan Gibbons is, I guess, no slouch, but the JMac polish on this one looks an auto bet job off the replay I've just seen there.
He did the same thing with Shades of Rose, didn't he? Like after poor old Rachel sort of was a bit unlucky, sort of horse didn't jump too well. And then since J-Max got on it, he sort of positioned it well and led on it its last 2. So hopefully he can do the same thing with this horse.
Gets a big tick of approval for me. All right, the last race that we're going to have a look at, just market only, no replays. So just want to put you in a bit of a twist here. The San Domenico Stakes, Walt, race 9 over 1,100 metres. You've got Best of Bordeaux resuming, $2.35. Natuno is $5.50. Spacewalk, Cupboard Job, $7.50. Zuccarino, the villain there, $7.50. And then Swiss Exile, $9.50. And then Primito, $15. When you have a look at that market, what are your first thoughts there?
Have spent a lot of time on this race. The start's the key here. So for me, I don't think a horse like Rise of the Masses will be fast enough to sort of compete. But you've got really keen going horses in Swiss Exile and Natuno who probably don't want to lead, but they're going to have to do enough to get across those inside few. And then you've got Cannonball with the blinkers on, probably going to kick up and try and lead. And then you want Swiss Exile and Natuno going to try and find a spot sort of sitting either outside or just off speed. I think ideally they'll want to take a sit. Best of Bordeaux either leads or sits outside Cannonball and probably wins. But if one of them get going, that could change the sort of profile of the race. I think Best of Bordeaux is far and away the most promising horse in the race. Again, sort of querying how strong that Brisbane form is, where Swiss Exile and Natuno come through it. I thought there's an interesting horse in Primito that if they do go crazy, just has a bit of X factor about him. He had a really strong tempo to help him sort of second up last prep when he won, but he was off a terrible setup there, and he's just got a bit of freak value about him still, and you're getting sort of $15, $16 to find out. But I think the favourite will be very hard to beat. His Spacewalk's in a lot of trouble from that gate if it couldn't win with the run it had last start, and Zuccarino is probably the horse to to beat, but it's going to be 3-4 back the inside potentially, which is not great.
You got to laugh or you just cry sometimes in this game. But best of Bordeaux, do you think it'll shorten from that quote, $2.35? And would you be happier to back it at $1.90 than it drifts and gets sort of loses the leg? And would you be worried if it got to somewhere like $2.70, or you'd back it anyway?
It's not really a betting proposition for me. I don't think it's, they'll want to win because it's a stallion. It's a Coolmore stallion, but it's not a real target race. Was it a Group 2, Group 3? I'm sure there's improvement to come from this horse, and I'll just want to see it get around safely, and kind of that'd be how I'd be suggesting McDonald will ride it. I don't think he'll come out guns ablaze. It's definitely not a grand final. If he has to sort of jag it back and take a sit, he's not going to hesitate to do that to save the horse, I wouldn't imagine. So I'd be pretty careful about betting into this race. And you've just got too many queries, especially with that Swiss Excellent and the Tuno over the tempo of the race. There's just too much going on in this to want to be taking short odds for mine. I'd rather sort of have a peanut on Prometo and watch this one.
Outstanding. If you want more of John's action, racingwatch.com.au. And as he mentioned, he found depth yesterday at $13. So I think he had it rated $6.50. So if you're not in his Discord chat, you're costing yourself a lot of money. So he's in the form every day, and it's definitely worth checking out. So racingwatch.com.au. Make sure you jump on board. Righto, our next favourite segment is Donny's Best, the rugby league player turned semi-pro punter.
G'day, lads. Donny's best for this weekend's racing. Well, it's Gold Coast show day here on Friday, so it's a public holiday. The kids are off to the show. The adults are off to the races. So we're going to look at the Gold Coast to find a couple of winners. The first one comes up in race 2. It's called Hillcrest Avenue. It had one start in Ireland before it was shipped out to Australian shores. What I like about it, it's trial. Under no pressure, it ran some of the day's best closing splits. If it's anywhere near the favourite Landsborough Lad, it will go straight past it because it is a milk drinker. I like this horse. The distance won't be a worry, and it's got a sharp turn of foot. That's race 2, Hillcrest Avenue. Then we go to race 5, Deriani. It's just a nice horse that's in form that maps in the right spot. It's been racing really good races in Saturday at Eagle Farm, so the drop back to a city midweek meeting will really suit. Maps straight behind the leaders. I think the price is wrong. $3.50 is on offer. I think it's more of a $2.60, $2.70 chance, so I'm happy to back it at that price. The main bet for the weekend is race 2, Hillcrest Avenue, about $3.50 on Friday, and race 5, Deriani on Friday at the Gold Coast. Good luck, team.
Too good, Donny. Gold Coast on a Friday. That's a little bit of flair and show day. I tell you what, I fly back Friday, so my afternoon is absolutely cactus. Are you going, Walt?
Mate, poor old Austin's in daycare that day. Harvey's normally at school. Now they're both at home, so I don't know what the heck's going on Friday. We'll probably end up at the show, I would imagine.
Give us a buzz and we'll go through the torture together. But how good's that? The public holiday on the Friday for probably no real genuine reason, but the good old Goldie. DK, you should fly up. You should get on the plane with me and have a weekend away.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. Weekend, mate. I need a spell at the moment. Winter, mate. I mean, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every weekend. So I knew what it'd be like if I was up there with you, Scooty. Wouldn't be a break.
TopSport Big Bets. He's deadly, the Donny, so make sure you're betting on Friday, and they'll keep going off. I would have thought if he's found them, there'll be weak races there. But the Gold Coast track, a little bit of caveat, it needs a bit of a rest. It's a bit like DK. It's just worn out from all the heavy rain, and it's just been getting smashed with overuse Gold Coast. They need a bit of a breather. TopSport Big Bets. Caulfield race 4 is the first one. Race 4, number 14. I Wish I Win. $1,000 at $8 there. Do you wish you held that ticket, Nico?
Yeah, I'd be happy taking 8. He's got a horrible habit of missing the start, this horse, but everything else he does pretty well. He ran 3rd in the 11 Classic last start, which is a Group 1 over in New Zealand. He's come to Moody. Jay Cargo's aboard.
Perfect.
Really strong trial. I would say if he doesn't miss the start, he's right in that race. I thought you could probably back him in Buffalo River, and you probably find the winner there.
If anyone can get it out of the gates, it'll be definitely Jay Carr.
Big tick.
That's if it's not it, it can be a bit of a tricky race. I thought on my first look at that. Race 8, number 5, Western Empire, $1,000 at $6. Interesting to see where this horse is going to fit in the picture.
Yeah, I think he's obviously a super talent. I backed him in the Cox Plate, but I couldn't really be getting entertained. He was sort of like $8.50 in the all-in. I think that's probably more the right price than sort of $5.56. Yeah, I'm half potting him on Saturday. I don't think he can win the Memsie, but he could be in for a massive spring.
Interested to see what you say out of the yard. Caulfield race 2, number 2 is Sir Lemur, $2,300 at $3.20.
Pretty sure she's come out. So
she's scratching there.
little donation.
Beautiful. Morpheville race 6, number 8 is another free glass. So I don't think anyone's had a look at race 8, number 6. So we might get our old mate Bagman and Johnny Kelton to give us the inside word. We might tweet that out. I tell you what, Johnny Kelton was superb on racing.com.
Flying.
On Saturday. I thought his insight was...
and yesterday.
Like
his best bet and his next best one.
Yep.
$3.50 and $6 or something yesterday. Like, geez, a good charge and everyone's getting it. Everyone can see it.
Mm. Yeah, he was...
be following him if I was betting on South Australia, that's for sure.
Auto bet.
Yeah.
Bet the Eagle. Yeah. Really sharp operator. And I tell you what, it's big shoes.
And you just got to get the form over there. Like, it's all those grading races and things like that, how they're up and down in class. And like those things yesterday were so, they both had 50 starts, but he's, the right horse in the right race. Best betted them.
Yeah. Duck to water. He's was going to be big shoes to fill, JJ, but I think he's going to do it with aplomb. So well done, Johnny Kelton. You've absolutely killed it. Walt, speaking of killed it, you've killed it too. It was good to hear some more comments about the state of the game. So it's good you got your 2 bobs worth in, but I'll see you next week.
Yeah, if you don't get a better offer for sure, or if you don't offer me something better, take it back off me and then, give it back to yourself.
Oh, well, it's a bit shirty that I sort of semi-invited him down for Shaq, and it was just never a good thing. And then Shaq's turned up at Saucony's and I'm a day late. So Nikki from our sports show isn't the most popular person in the Little Birdie studios at the moment. She's brushed us all. So you would have come down for no reason, Walt. So I think I've saved you. So I've done you a favour there.
So it's four other people's fault. And when you say semi-invited, when you say, can you just run it past Beck, make sure everything's okay, look at flights, is that semi-invited? Okay, no worries. Thanks, appreciate it.
I think I said, if you could have dinner with Shaq, would you do it? So there was a big if. So it didn't come to fruition. So no harm, no foul is the way I've sort of read that one. But it's good to be back in studio with you boys down here in Melbourne.
Yeah,
I've loved the show.
So for the next time you'll be back, and it'll be about summertime, Scooty. A bit your weather now. Now you've dumped us. You've really, you're a true convert up there now. That's it.
Now we've got heaps of stuff coming up. So we've got a little 4-man tournament for the Masters. So we've got Donnie, Mark Lambourne, John McLeod, and John Walter. So I'll be back in a few weeks for a bit of a doubleheader there. So we've got a couple of streams coming up. There'll be more streams throughout the spring. So bad news for you, DK, and your hangovers. I'll be terrorising your springs. I reckon I'll be back about 6 times between now and Christmas. 6 or 7. So line up some lunches. We'll get down the railway.
Yeah,
I can't wait for the $5 the steak and the just pay through the nose for the sauces and all that sort of stuff. So we'll line up a couple of long lunches.
That's how it is these days. Anyway, inflation. We're used to it.
And there'll be plenty of stuff going on. So we'll be busy. I'll be back here a lot, and it's going to be great punting, and just good to have all the good horses back, and it's just good to be able to swing hard.
It's going to be a good weekend, isn't it? It's always sort of gives you a lot of, like it feels good when the good horses are back, isn't it? You got something to look forward to on the weekend. It's not just the same old horses going around. So excited for Saturday.
Exactly. It's you just get out of bed and you just jump out of bed waiting for them, and I'm sure even with yours, DK, the good horse, there's some good horses come through the grades.
Ripping, there's every all these first start, like Mick Price is letting all these Derby horses first up at the moment, and D Lane's going there for one ride, and J Carr's going there for one ride, M Zara. So all the things that they're trying to get to, or maybe late Caulfield Guineas, but definitely Derby horses are all being produced at the moment.
And you got Bendigo as well. All right, that's a wrap from us. It feels like we've been here for about 4 years. Hopefully we found you a winner this Saturday on the punt, and hopefully we get a little bit of change and some clarification around the current state of the game. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week.